Hi, this is Kerry Artak with Wicked Stocks, bringing you your daily Tesla report for Tuesday, December 3rd, 2024. Let's take a look at the charts. I'm going to start with the weekly chart just to drive home the point that since closing above this formation at the end of a week, 3 weeks ago, despite all the downside whipsaw head fakes on a day-by-day basis that has occurred on the daily chart, the weekly chart is still saying the same, which is to say continued weekly settlements above 338.46 maintains the integrity of the buy signal on the weekly chart, which is the chart that really dictates long-term price movement. It is the daily chart and the hourly charts and the 15-minute bar charts where you can get sort of lost and difficult to discern the forest from the trees. But in terms of the big picture, continued weekly settlements above 338.46 will keep 414.49 in reach as a 2 to 3 month target or sooner. 501.00 in reach by some point in 2025, whether that's 3 to 5 months from now or longer. Tough to say. Certainly a settlement above 414.49 would go far in terms of setting off secondary buying pressures that could then yield 501 even within 2 to 3 months. And that is really kind of the big picture to the upside. So 338.46, I have that as a 4-star level. I think it's a very day tradable level here. You won't really see, we have it on the daily chart, but the daily chart is 339.03, and we're not even using that right now. It's just 338.46 all week. There are levels both above and below that I want to bring to your attention for day trading and 3 to 5 day swing trading. Let's cover the upside, actually. I've got 363.58, just a simple trend line off the highs as an intraday resistance. What does intraday resistance mean? It means it can contain buying, not so much for the entire day itself, but we could top out there initially and from there fall back to, say, 351.15, which is Monday's low. And that has pivot point qualities in and of itself. Breaking 351.15, I do not see. Well, what I would see is 338.46, and that is it's hard to. I think it's right about here on the chart, right about there, I believe. So yes, 338.46 in reach if we break or open below Monday's 351.15 low. 348.46, 338.46, once again, able to contain daily selling pressures, possibly weekly selling pressures, possibly selling through the first quarter and into later next year, given the fact that a long-term buy signal remains intact above it. Let's get back to that daily chart. If we happen to push through 363.58, 374.56 is in reach today. You can see that on the far right. 374.56, able to contain daily buying pressures. We could come off of here too. I do think 374.56 may be a good 3 to 5 day swing trade. And also, let me say that if we close above 374.56, 3 to 5 day swing traders should play the long side. In fact, I'm going to go back to this chart here and show 384.29. You can see that as the April 22 high. And if we close today above 374.56, this is just a mere hesitation point, in my opinion, on what should then be that 414.49 high from November of 21. And so if we close today above 374.56, you've got 414 is right about here in the chart. I think you can imagine this being in reach by the end of next week if we close today above 374.56. So pushing through 374.56, which I doubt today, but if so, 384.29 in reach on an intraday basis. And if we happen to close above 374.56, that 414.49 high from, what is that? This is the wrong chart. A 414.49 high from November of 21. Then likely by the end of next week. That's how this can actually just sort of pull away much quicker. And I mentioned how 414.49 is a kind of a 2 to 3 month or sooner objective. And sooner, you're right, if we close today above 374.56. Until then, we can top out at 363.58, fall back to 351.15. If we break 351.15, 338.46 is likely today, where we can bottom out for the day itself. solid day trade. I also think a solid 3 to 5 day swing trade. And if you, this is the point, of course, that you stay long above. If you're long now, I'm talking to long-term position holders who are holding a trade for weeks and months out. Now, we're not going to see this today, but if we close today below 338.46, 328.29 likely tomorrow, potentially 312.84 by Friday's close. Should you go short with a settlement today below the 338.46 weekly channel top? Didn't work very well last week. Last Thursday, if you recall, we came ripping right back on Friday, big head fake, and so that was a sell signal rejection on a near-term basis. And so I really don't want to suggest that again. If we close today below 338.46, should you go short to 312.84? That is obviously entirely up to you. I wouldn't recommend it. What I would recommend is if you are long, especially if you're recently long, like over the last couple of days, and we close below 338.46, I think you can cover that long position. Whether you reverse and go short is another question altogether. I would rather reserve setting a short position that is substantial with a weekly settlement Friday back below 338.46. That would be a long-term buy signal rejection. In essence, a valid sign of weakness as we move through December. If we close the week below 338.46, if we haven't tested it already, 312.84 likely within a matter of days, and within a matter of weeks, the 277.14, a long-term rising one-third speed line. But we're a long way from that right now. I do want to emphasize that this market remains stable to bullish. There is the tendency for continued higher trade now above 338.46, so keep that in mind. Is there anything else to say? I don't think so. I'm going to leave it at that for Tuesday's Daily Tesla Report. You have a great day.